In today's video, we're going to check out the brand new Honor Magic 7 Pro. Now, I've been using this device for over a month. I've traveled with this to Japan, to Vegas. I've covered with it multiple events. And one of the things I want to share with you guys is my experience and how this device basically bounce and juggle different things on the daily. This is obviously building on what Honor's been doing for many, many years. So there's a lot of refined experiences as well as new AI features that were improved here. And of course, a camera system that is unlike other devices on the market as well. We have basically nothing under 50 megapixels. Let's just say that. Everything here is 50 megapixels and up. So this is TK, this is the Honor Magic 7 Pro. Let's check it out and see all the cool things that this device can do. Like and subscribe and make sure you hit that bell icon so you're always notified whenever we have new videos for you on the channel. The packaging this year is a little bit different than what we've seen in the past. Yes, it's a thin box, which means we do not get a charger in the box. We do get, luckily though, is the device itself. This is the Honor Magic 7 Pro. This is the color that I received. And other than that, we just pretty much get some instruction manuals and a USB-C to C cable. No charger in the box. But this device does pack a lot of features, and we're going to talk about all the cool things that this device offers us. Obviously, the unit that I have here is a very nice. It has a nice shimmer. It's a black color. Seems to be one of the variants that are out there. There's another one that actually has some very cool aesthetics in there. But overall, what we see here obviously is an interesting camera stack in the back that we typically don't see. Again, we do have the periscope camera in the back, dual tone LED flash, microphones, of course, and of course the camera array that allows us to actually get some great imagery. When we're talking about the camera stack that we have on the back here, we have a unique system. Again, as I mentioned, nothing under 50 megapixels. We have the primary sensor here. That's the 50 megapixel. That's the Falcon camera. On the left of that is going to be the ultra wide. That's also a 50 megapixel camera. When we go over to the telephoto lens, that's going to be a 200 megapixel telephoto lens. Now, that's one of the big benefits on the fact that that's literally a great stack on the back. Of course, that's married with that 50 megapixel front-facing camera as well as the time of flight sensor on the side here that allows us to not only be able to get true image mapping of our face to basically get that face unlock, which is much better and more secure than what we typically see on most devices that are using just the front-facing camera by itself. Again, a great camera stack, a great experience. We have a power button on the right side as well as a volume rocker, pretty much clean after anything else. On the top, we have, of course, the top mounted speaker, an IR blaster, as well as one of the microphones. On the left, pretty much a clean slate all the way down to the bottom. It is a flat edge on the side, but it is nicely married with a curved display as well as a curved back. Now, on the bottom, what we have here, obviously, is access to the SIM tray, as well as a microphone, USB-C, bottom firing speaker. We do support eSIM in here, so that's also very nice to have. Again, and one last thing I want to mention regarding the battery that we have in here. The model that I have is a European model, which means the typical device model battery that's going to be here is a 5270 milliampere, which is a little bit smaller than the 5850 that the international model is receiving. That's just something to be aware. If you do pick up a European model, that's going to be a limitation to some regulations in Europe, and that's one of the reasons why the battery is a little smaller. But the charging is still 100 watt wired, 80 watt wireless. Unfortunately not included in the box, but if you do have those from previous generations, they should work. Reverse wireless charging as well as reverse wired charging. So that's something that's also unique. And it's going to be at about 5 watts here when we're charging via wire. But again, it's very nice. You can use the battery that we have in here, which again is over 5,000. And it, of course, will be able to use it to charge other devices, although at not a very fast speed. And what we have here is a 6.8-inch display. It's an LTPO OLED panel. And of course, it allows us to go up to 120 hertz, Dolby Vision support, HDR vivid colors. And it does support higher resolution than 1080p, although not exactly 2K. It is basically a nano crystal shield, which allows it to be very protective, but we also have a screen protector that's positioned in here on top of that. As you notice right there, I am connected on T-Mobile here in the US. Let's go ahead and turn off the Wi-Fi. And as you can see there, it does pick up 5G signal here on T-Mobile in the LA area, and I almost have full bars here even inside of my house. Now, because this is powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, it does support Wi-Fi 6, Wi-Fi 7, a lot of the new technologies, and it has a really good band configuration. We do have circle to search built in directly out of the box. So let's go ahead and press it. You'll see it right there. We can actually just circle to search out of the box. A lot of those functionalities are already built in, and we're starting to see this on more and more devices since the original introduction of this last year, I think, if I'm not mistaken, in January of 2024. So it's definitely very nice to see that it's permeated throughout the ecosystem. This is the Honor Magic 7 Pro. 12 gigs of RAM on the model that I have, 512 gigs of internal storage, 2800 by 1280 is the resolution on the screen. As you see here, the battery that I have is the 5270, as indicating that this is a European model version of it. Communication chip, obviously the Honor C2, and of course power enhanced chip. This is the Honor E2, custom silicon, obviously built on top of the Snapdragon 8 Elite. Model number is PTPN49, and of course, its build number is what we're running here with GPU Turbo. Storage configuration, macOS 9.0 on top of Android 15. And all this obviously is providing us some of the best experience from Android 15 as well as macOS 9. And what I mean by this is this USB-C port on the bottom does support video out. And that means essentially you can use a pair of glasses and of course plug them in and get the experience of a laptop straight from your smartphone. Connect a keyboard and mouse and then you're ready to go with a portable laptop on your smartphone. Of course, ultrasonic fingerprint sensor works every single time. Let's go ahead and use it again. Super fast and super reliable. I'm really happy that they went with the higher quality fingerprint sensor. So literally high quality front facing face unlock as well as fingerprint configuration is very, very nice. And you can install and run everything that you want. Of course, I've been using this for quite some time. And when I say some time, I said, again, I've been using it for over a month. We're going to talk about the cameras and of course, some of the experiences that you're able to get here. So we talked about the cameras, short and sweet. All the configurations and everything that you have in here is around the technologies that they brought in. One of the biggest things that they bring in here with the main sensor on the bottom, and you could probably see it, is that it actually has basically a dual stage aperture, meaning we can go from two different f-stops, an f1.4 and f2.0. And it by itself right now, as you can see here, it's a little bit closed, but you're able to jump in directly in here, open it up. And then if you select the aperture functionality, you'll notice that it actually by default, it goes on auto, but there's two different options in here. So here, there's f1.4, and of course I can select f2.0. Both of those are going to give you slightly different experiences in the amount of light it's able to bring in. And what I mean by this is if you're in a situation where you need to bring in more light, going to a lower f-stop, like an f1.4 situation, brings in a little bit more light. Now, unfortunately, it doesn't vary anywhere between anything else. So if you're not using it and you're going into auto mode, the system will allow it to basically configure what it needs. But otherwise, you're looking at the ability to basically bring in slightly more light into an image, especially in low light photography. That could be very helpful. That means whenever we're using it at f1.4, you'll notice that the iris itself is open all the way to be able to absorb as much light as possible. And then when we switch over to f2.0, you'll notice that the iris closes. Again, I wish it was a little bit more of a variable aperture, but it's saying, sorry. And of course, when we go to f2.0, you'll notice that the iris closes up. It doesn't close up all the way, but it does restrict the amount of light coming in. We have portrait imagery, again, the main sensors as well. Of course, we have a few filters in here, built-in colors, the hardcore color, and of course, the black and white, the classic, and you're able to customize those experiences. Night photography, photography here, of course. Everything is customized by a little short menu here on the side. Swiping over to the right, we have video, of course, pro mode, more. Additional options in here, stage, multi-video camera, watermark, super macro, light painting, aperture, and of course different options that you're able to customize. We're going to go real quick outside and do a sample of the front facing and the rear facing camera for video. Again, 4K 60 is going to be across all the sensors that we have in here. We're going to start off with the front facing camera that we have here on the brand new Magic 7 Pro. Now again, 4K 60 frames per second is something that we expect and we do receive with this. We do have dual sensors on the front, allowing us to actually get somewhat of a wider angle, a little bit wider than typical. So again, this should be a good example of what the video looks like and sounds like from the front facing camera experience. Let's go ahead and switch over to the main sensor on the back. Okay, now switching it over to the main sensor on the back, we're also actually able to use 4K 60 on the ultra wide as well as the telephoto lens. The biggest benefit here obviously is the continuing experience from the front and on the back. And as you're seeing with some of the examples in the rest of this video, that I was actually testing this out while I was on travel with the family in Japan, which is one of the nicest things to be able to actually try, especially when you're taking a camera system that allows us to do that whole f1.7 to f2.0 aperture adjustments on the main lens. Although didn't really see a big difference in the quality of the images as far as the amount of light we're able to bring in. They're not jumping in all the way to f4, so we're looking at basically just two f-stops. Right now, it's pretty much running at f1.4, and of course, you're able to jump over to f2.0. But this should be a good example of what the audio and video sounds like and looks like from the main sensor on the back. And of course, before we go too far, again, 3075 on the single core, 9458 on the multi-core. Again, Snapdragon 8 Elite is powering this device, and of course, it's not going to be skimping on any performance. There is a performance mode, and that one's intended mostly for gaming, but this is running standard profile, so you're not going to be disappointed. Again, utilizing the full potential of the actual unit itself. Very nice. Cooling system here is also very, very good. I wish there was a case in the box as well, as the box right now pretty much just includes a charging cable. Next thing we're going to check out real quick is the audio experience. We have stereo speakers. One thing to mention, they are firing outwards. So the speakers themselves, both the bottom and the top firing speakers are going to be going sideways. So when you're holding the phone, you're pretty much going to need to hold it in this way to get the best experience. Let's go ahead and play our favorite song.
Jack it up.
Okay, I will say these are some of the loudest speakers I've heard on a smartphone. Not only that, but also no distortion, good sounding bass at the top higher levels. Again, I am holding the phone side by sides, otherwise the sound doesn't actually reverberate, but I hope that you're able to actually hear and feel how well the sound comes out of these speakers. This is going to be great for video calls, conversations, listening to music, playing games. Absolutely fantastic. Again, we do have a built-in game center here. That's typical to what we've seen with Honor devices. You're able to download, we'll get that later on. You're able to download additional games, customize them, also customize the gaming experience that you'll have when you're running different games. An example would be here, let's say Call of Duty Mobile. You'll notice right there, it launches right away on the top left. Accessing it is pretty straightforward. You swipe from the side and you're able to customize the gaming experience from game to balance. Of course, we have screen recording, multi-touch prevention, basically, rotation lock, settings, adaptive, all the different options that you want. And as you know, right now we're getting close to Chinese New Year, and of course Call of Duty Mobile always celebrates that. As you can see here, 120 frames per second supported across the entire gaming experience on Call of Duty Mobile. Of course, as you're seeing there, this device is not going to disappoint when it comes down to gaming experiences. We have a lot of RAM, a lot of storage, fast RAM, fast storage, video output for glasses if you want to be able to play. You're wearing those glasses. It's absolutely fantastic. The ability of using it as a desktop experience with the Magic OS desktop that's built in, wired and wireless. Very, very nice. Also, again, a beautiful display, high refresh rate, and a lot of good things built in here to keep the device cool. What I will say though, when it comes down to cameras, we're going to talk about where basically things have been improving over time since I've had the unit again for about a month now. The biggest thing I'll probably say is there was a couple of updates that came in, and I think the last update that I got in early January did help a little bit more in some of the basically zooming experiences, but the overall, for the general usage of it, video recording, everything in there has been working really good for me. We took it with the family to Tokyo, Osaka, Kyoto, as well as I took it with me to Vegas when I was covering CES. So the overall performance here is basically what Honor's been doing over years. It's building on that and improving it as time goes on. Is this going to be that big of a jump from last year's Magic 6 Pro? I think personally it's a minor update with obviously with the camera sensors and that we have in here. The camera technically overall, obviously we're changing silicon from one year over the other. I feel like this is going to be a much bigger upgrade if you're coming from the Honor Magic 5 Pro or even earlier generations of the Honor Magic 5 Magic series, because this is building on that, and now it's much bigger of a jump with new sensors, new experiences, a lot of AI built in here to be able to fix some of those images. Again, object removal, people remover, fixing. One of my favorite features that I love here is, let's say you take a screenshot. Let's go ahead and just do a quick screenshot here. I can actually press and hold on the actual screenshot. You'll notice it highlights a little bit on the left. I can even bring it on the right side. But if I swipe over here, I'm actually able to basically throw it into a quick shortcut, into an email, a message, a note, a favorite. And of course, I can go and add additional applications. I can throw it to my feed, going into a reel. And all of this stuff is super easy and super quick, done as a sharing functionality. And of course, you have the ability of going in there, changing the brush size, zooming in, and let's say we want to basically remove a couple of people here. So we're going to take this guy. I mean, I'm trying to make the image better. I do apologize to them in advance, but you'll notice right there, allowing us to actually go from a picture like this to a picture like this. Something that you're able to do to some of these images. Again, obviously this is modified. This is not going to be as good as the original, but the main thing obviously is the way we remember it, the way we are remembering this event, the shrine, the entrance to the shrine, now looks a little bit more unique to us as far as being able to take those images where everybody's already there. Especially at tourist spots, this is definitely going to be very helpful. And as far as the images that I'm sharing with you guys here, again, I've used it during nighttime photography, daytime photography, high contrast subjects, as well as overcast experiences, which allowed me to actually test the experience of what this camera system is able to do for us. The telephoto lenses work really good, especially when we were in Kyoto and trying to take some of those long shots. There was a monkey, not going to say a reserve, but essentially an area where you're able to go see mountain monkeys in Kyoto, and this enabled me to actually get closer to the subject without having to physically be closer to the subject. And of course, nighttime shots in Osaka, where you get to see there, the lights are so bright, they just provide you that nice sharp imagery. And I think that's the main thing about the system. It really is enjoyable, and I was able to enjoy taking pictures, videos, and capturing the moments as I remember them. And if there's ever a situation, as I showed you guys just a second ago, we can remove people out of the picture to get those images as clean as possible, as the memory that we have of those areas typically are like that. I don't remember the people there, I remember the moment and the actual monument or the shrine that we were visiting. So With that being said, if you're looking to import this device, just be aware that there is two variants of it. There's an international model, and then there is the European model. The European model will have a slightly smaller battery, still over 5,000, where the international model is going to be more of a 5,800 milliampere. So about another 500 milliampere or so extra on top of that, still supporting the same charging speeds and features as far as reverse wireless charging, wired reverse charging, all the things that we get in there. Let me know in the comments below, what do you guys think of the Magic 7 Pro? Is this a device that intrigues you? Again, I don't think this is a straight upgrade from the 6, but probably earlier generations like a 5 or something else, this will definitely be a much bigger jump, and I feel like you will appreciate the features that we have in here a lot more. Like and subscribe as usual. Thank you very much to Honor for allowing me to check out the Honor Magic 7 Pro. I will see you in the next video.